Hi. I have a few caveats to start with. I am not any sort of a suppressor maintenance expert. This is my first one, and I'm just willing to share what I've been doing to keep it clean. 22 suppressors get very dirty and need to be cleaned. The manufacturer recommends about every 1,000 rounds. I don't wait that long. And this is a Sparrow. It's made by Suppressor Co. And I want to show you a few tips and tricks on how to get it clean. It's got about 300 rounds through it right now. Okay, it's relatively easy to take apart. Got this cap here, that's the threaded end, that's the dangerous end. You just twist it off, give it a little push, just pulls out. Set the tube aside for right now. It's reasonably clean. Here's what gets the dirtiest. These stainless steel shields get pretty dirty, and the baffles also tend to get a little dirty. So what I'm going to do to start with is I'm going to spray them down with some simple green, and then I'm going to just wipe them off with a paper towel, shop towel. Let them sit there for a minute. And now I'm going to try to get as much of this off of here as I can in the beginning. Now, here's the first thing that I found out about. It looks like this is pretty easy to clean, and it is. It's coming off pretty well. However, the end closest to the muzzle is going to be the hardest to clean. And there's a trick I heard, and I tried it. I take some of this. It's called dielectric grease. And you can get it on Amazon relatively cheap. I don't get sponsored by anybody, so I don't care what brand you use. But I take just a light bit of this before I shoot, and I rub it around the inside here, and then I'll show it at the end also. But it makes it much easier. The first time I cleaned this thing without the dielectric grease on it, it was a nightmare. So these have been sitting for a little while. Got this stuff off. Got this stuff off. Now the baffles I'm going to put in this bag of, it's called Simple Green, but it's the multi-metal version, and it's the purple kind. So I think they should call it Simple Purple, but they didn't ask me. And then, and that's because that's for any kind of metal practically. This is stainless. I'm going to put it into Simple Green, each one in their own bag, because if you don't, they'll nest. Now, the first couple times I did this, I put it in my sonic cleaner, but I found that time is better than the sonic cleaner. Just let it sit for a while. And so what I'm going to do from this point is I'm going to clean the guns that I used at the range, and I'll be back. And we're back. Cleaned 2 guns and had a cup of coffee. Now I'm going to look at this. First thing I'm going to look at are the baffles. And they seem to be nice and clean. I'm going to rinse them in water. Normally I do that in the sink, but in this case, just going to rinse it off. Hit it with a little air. Sorry. Hit it with a little air. Now I'm going to use a little of this lithium. Lithium? Dielectric grease. Might not be lithium. This is a good idea, a good time rather, to remind you that, again, I'm no expert. I'm trying this, and you're welcome to try it if you think it would help you. But, you know, if something goes wrong, sorry, it's just what I've been experimenting with. So as you can see, a little lithium or dielectric grease on the threads here. And there's internal threads as well as external threads. And the reasoning for that is they say sometimes these will seize up on you, and we don't want that to happen. Now I can see that I have a little bit of smush there, so I'm just going to hit it quick with the brush just to get it nice and clean again. Set that aside, and I'm going to take a look at these one at a time. And hit with the fingernail a little bit, thumbnail. Most of it's coming off now. Again, this is down towards the muzzle end that it gets so dirty like this. So if you get anything that's really stubborn, I use a 12 gauge shotgun brush. It seems to get a lot of it, maybe a little more purple. Now if I let this soak overnight, it pretty well just washes off, but I'm not going to wait that long. So we get down to the very end here, and there's just a few spots that are being very persnickety, as you can see. So I'm going to take a empty clean cartridge case. This happens to be a 360. Okay, Buckmaster, I think it is. I'm gonna hit these. Almost done. First time I did this without the dielectric grease on it, it probably took me at least a half an hour to do just one of these. And they both do the same, so I'll come back and do the after I do the other one. I was using some really dirty ammo, I guess, because this is a little dirtier than normal. Few little tiny spots being really difficult today. Got one down. I'll be back. And we're back. Okay, I'm almost done with this second one. I did want to show you there's a few things in there that were just being absolutely resistant to coming out. And so I have another product that I've used over the years. It's called Mother's Mag and Aluminum Polish, and it's kind of interesting stuff. I'm just gonna rub that in there and just work it into the surface just to get these last little stubborn, they're almost like stains. There's not really a lot of resistance to them when I'm running my nail over them, but I did want to get them as clean as possible, more for the video than anything else. Normally I probably would just put the lithium on, or the, keep calling it that, the dielectric grease on it, and see what is what. So yeah, just kind of rub that in there, and then you just polish it out, and pretty much gets everything in there. So on to the close to the end here. So I come back to our dielectric grease. I'm going to take a little bit and rub it on there, and then just rub it in. I don't want it caked on at all. I just want enough in there to make sure that the carbon and all the gunk from the ammo doesn't find a permanent home there, and make it much easier to clean. I'm tempted to show you what it's like without doing that, but I'm going to resist that temptation because life is short. Okay, so not much on there. Let's take a little bit more. Rub it in. Now we're going to put this bad boy back together again. The tube, I just sprayed it with some cleaner. I ran a paper towel through it a couple times, and that pretty well got it all clean. Like I said, I got a little bit of this grease on the fitting. I have a little bit on this fitting. So there's little marks here on the side of the baffle, and these are going to line up like that, set into the edge. This is the end that it comes out. This is, of course, the muzzle end, and I'll do the other one the same. And as you can see, got those little nibs lined up. This is going to match to that, so we're going to slide that on. Now, I had to learn this part the hard way. There's a wave pattern on here, and if you don't get the wave pattern lined up like that, then when you tighten it, gas can get out and it is messy. It still suppresses pretty good, but not quite as well. So I'm going to get that down in there as tight as I possibly can. Hopefully you can see that. And then this goes on here. Now, when I get ready to tighten this, that's going to try to spin. So what I do is I hold that as tight as I can, and I tighten this down, and it still wants to creep out a little bit, so I just make sure that it's in there as tight as I can before I do the final tightening. And that's about all I have. Hopefully it's helpful. Like I said, do it at your own risk, and have a great day. God bless.